And then I've got, but the questions are on there. So that's why I'm always looking down and squinting because I can't read that well. Okay, so I'm on YouTube and Facebook right now. So for the live, this is one of my unscheduled lives. And I will be answering emails tonight. If you've sent me an email, I'll be trying to get to them. If it's about coaching, I might not, if I can't take more people on, I won't get to you. I only answer coaching emails when I can sign you up for coaching because I don't always have time to take people on. Got a busy schedule these days. Okay. So I think that boot camp, the group Zoom calls starting on the 30th with the boot camp. If you haven't checked that out, get on the Behavior Board newsletter if you're interested. It's up in the link above and you'll get the emails about it. I think it's going to be a pretty good turnout. I don't know how many people are going to turn up. I'm very curious because I get a lot of emails about people asking about it and that. So it'll be very interesting to see how that goes. I've only done one once before, but it was a limited number. Like I think I just had 20 people in it because they were helping me build the course. That was last June, I think. And so that was just 20. I don't know how many people are going to turn up. Might be a little bit busy, but we'll see. It'll be fun. Okay, what's the best way to deal with a bossy 2.5-year-old? Don't let them boss you around. That's the best way to deal with it. So yeah, say something. If something's going to happen, make it happen. If they say no, it's going to happen anyway. You don't argue with a 2.5-year-old. Well, with any kid, really. You just if something needs to happen, like I'm gonna change your diaper. No, pick them up and change their diaper. So you only say something once, and then you take action, make it happen. And then they don't tend to argue with the parent who does that. If there's a parent who barters with them, well, how about if I give you a toy first, then can I change it? And then they're gonna keep arguing. But if I would have said, okay, time to change your diaper, and if they'd said no, they would have been up on that table and be changing their diaper. Then they just stop saying no to that parent. They just learn there's no point. That's with stuff that, you have to do certain things, right? These are my top 5 tips for parenting toddlers. Number 1, childproof your home so you never have to say no. Number 2, set up a toy rotation system so they're never bored. Number 3, when you want to connect with a toddler, you do so in their world. Watch how they play and join in. You don't go to the nail salon with them. You go to the park and roll down the hill, stuff like that. Number 5 is when you want to discipline a toddler, it's not about words. All these mini therapy sessions discussing all their big feelings, their big emotions, that's garbage. They're not about words, they're about actions. You respect them enough to enter their world, and that is actions. So you use consistent corrective actions when you want to correct bad behavior, because they learn through repetition. They're not going to learn the first time, probably not even the 50th time. Have to do it over and over and over, repetition. Number 5 is stop trying to figure toddlers out. They're not figure-outable, they're brand new, fresh human beings. They're just forming. They might even go like this and smear poop on the wall. Try and explain that to me. I can't figure that one out. Okay, so if you go on the link above, you can get my free behavior board, my mini toddler courses, my big boot camp course, or you can look into coaching. My schedule is pretty jam-packed these days, so I can't take everyone on these days with coaching, but you can apply for it. And if you're in crisis, I will take you on anyway. And crisis is not, I've got a 3-year-old who's driving me nuts. It's the big stuff with teenagers usually. Sorry, my back's bugging me. Anyway, and the boot camp course starting March 30th. That's the weekly Zoom coaching calls, group coaching. So every single Saturday at noon, every single Saturday at noon from the 30th, it ends on April 27th, I think. Yeah. So it actually goes for 6 weeks. So I do the 5-week boot camp with you. And then the last week, I'm excited about this. The last week, the 6th one, you're finished with the boot camp course. You've all gone through it. But then I'm going to say, how did it go? How's it going? How's it working for you? So I'm really excited about that 6th week. That starts on the 30th. You have to be signed up to the course to get in on that. And anyone in the past or whoever, if you just buy it today, you can get in on it. Or if you signed up for it, like, last year when I first got it going, you can still get in on it. Even if you finished it, it might be fun to turn up and see what's going on. So, and you can ask questions in there. Do you have a teen boot camp? No, I don't. I always say, I can't do a teen course because I specialize in teen crisis work, and I can't do a course on crisis. But then I realized most people with teenagers aren't in crisis. It's just most people who hire me to work with their teen or to work with them and their their teenage stuff they're in crisis. Or a lot of them are, not all of them. So yeah, I could do one day. I'll be honest, I'm just so busy right now. I don't know what to do next. I've got this thing. I don't know whether to do a book, a teen boot camp course. Yeah, I don't know which one I'm going to do next, but one thing I'm going to have to do, if I want to do anything like that, anything extra, I'm going to have to probably quit coaching for a while or put it on hold for a while. It takes up most of my days. As much as I love it, it takes up most of my days. So I can't write a book. I can't do another course right now. I'm just too busy. You get burnout if you do too much. Do you have a course for 4-year-olds? Yes, I do. That's the boot camp course, 3 to 12 years old. So toddlers are crazy. I'll probably never have a course on toddlers. They're just kind of nuts anyway, because they're just forming. They're brand new, fresh human beings. I have a bunch of little mini niche courses, though. Tantrums, toddlers who hit, potty training, bedtime. I have those 4 niche courses. But an overall toddler course, I don't know. I can't make sense out of them, so how can I do a course on them? Although I probably will one day. But anyway, the teen course I will hopefully do one day. It's just time. And I can't push myself too far because I'll burn out, right? Especially at my age. I'm in my 60s. Okay. What can I do as a mother of my 11-year-old daughter embarrassed of my sexuality? Well, embarrassed of your sexuality. So what are you? Why are they embarrassed of your sexuality? I don't know what you mean by that. Like, is it because you're gay or lesbian or you have a same-sex partner? Lots of my clients are same-sex parents. Is that what you mean? Okay. How do I get signed up for the 6-week class? That's my boot camp. Check that out. By the way, if you turn up to that Zoom, it'll be put on the course eventually, so everyone will see it. So if you're shy, just don't show your face on there. But I think it'd be good to see each other because most of my clients are really highly successful. They're just struggling with their kids, right? They may be running corporations or schools, or I get a lot of my clients are teachers, principals, child psychologists, because those are very different roles from parenting. So yeah, it's not, people always think, oh, no one else is suffering like I am. Oh yeah, they are. Yeah, they are. Anyway, it's in the link above. It's the boot camp course if you're interested. I'm so excited about that 6th week though. I'm dying to catch up with people after they finish with it. Because in coaching, I see all that. Coaching's my favorite thing. Because I get to know them, right? So I get to celebrate the wins with them and then cry through all the losses. And, we get to go through it together because I do get emotionally involved in my clients. I can't operate without doing that. And so it's fun for me. And sometimes painful, but it's mostly fun. But the boot camp, I don't know what's going on over there. I do hear from people from time to time. But overall, I want to find out how you're doing after you finished it. I'm very excited about week 6. They are crazy. Yeah, toddlers are cute. They're cute as a button, but they're all feet, no brains. I always call them crazy, but it's just that they haven't developed sanity yet. They're not there yet. They're just one marble and some tumbleweed floating around in there. How much is the boot camp course? Just check out. All my courses are listed up there in the thing. I don't really discuss prices on here. The reason is if I change the prices and you see this a year from now, whatever, although I hardly ever change things. I definitely need a toddler course. My 19-month-old in tantrums hitting. I do have a tantrum course, by the way. I have 4 mini courses. They're just niche courses about toddlers. Although the bedtime one goes up to 8 years old. I think the hitting one goes to 3 also. But yeah, the bedtime one and all that kind of stuff that goes past the age or 3 and above, that's in the boot camp course, the big course. But anything under 3, no, I didn't. I didn't put potty training in the course. Okay. How do you address an 8-year-old who's obsessed with video games? Very, very common. I hear this every single day. So I would do a media management system. Media management, I think there's 3 ways of dealing with it. 2 of them are okay. I don't really like them. But 2 of them that I don't really like that much, they're okay. One of them is you have an allotted time per day. So between 7 and 8 every day you can go on screens. The other one is you have an allotted amount of time every day. So you get an hour a day. I don't really like either one of those. I like this other one because you're sort of teaching the children how to self-discipline. What you do is you say you have, let's say for an example, you put 10 hours a week you can go on screens. If they're 10 years old, I don't know how you do that. That's not the point, not how many hours, just set an allotted amount of hours per week. And you say, now you're in charge of it. So if they use up all their hours by Wednesday or Thursday, they've got no screens over the weekend. So they'll learn. The first week might be hell, but that's okay. Follow through on it. And yeah, I call that media management. Get them to, you don't want to micromanage your kids all the time. You want to give them some responsibilities. That's one of the best ways to do it is media management. Anyway, and you write it all up in minutes. So let's say they've got 10 hours a week. I would do a whole chart and I would do like 600 circles on that chart and cross them out for each minute. Just make it like a big, like this is a real big production that you're doing. Only you can cross it out. They're not going to want to cross it out anyway, but keep track of the minutes. Because it might not be 1 hour, it might be minutes, right? It might be 35 minutes or 24 minutes. So yeah, it's a lot of work, but yeah, it's worth it. It teaches them to take control of themselves. Is it common for teens to hate their siblings? It's common for teens to hate everybody, including themselves. So yeah, they're very emotional. They tend to love hard and hate hard, and they don't seem to have any in between. They're hot or they're cold. They're not all like that, but it's very common. Yeah, very common. How can I coach with you? So you want to hire me? Check out the link above and it'll teach you all about coaching. It'll tell you what's involved. If you're interested, send me an email and you have to apply for it because my schedule is really packed these days. If I send you an invoice, because I've looked at your email and I said, yeah, okay, I can work with you. I like to mix up the ages, by the way, for my own, sanity. I don't want to just have all teenagers and all toddlers. I kind of mix it up just for my own, just for me. Anyway, so then if I send you an invoice, that means I've got a space for you. Well, I was going to answer this question, but you didn't put the age. Your daughter is embarrassed by you and your girl. Oh, sorry. Oh, 4 years. Oh, sorry. Okay. I have a girlfriend that I've had, for almost 4 years. No, you didn't put the age of your child, so I can't answer that. 9-year-old hates homework. That's okay. They don't have to like everything. Don't be the pleaser parent trying to make everything fun. Say, yeah, sometimes you have to scrub a toilet. Actually, that's a bad example with me because I love cleaning. Actually, I actually like clean bathrooms. I clean my whole bathroom every single day, sometimes twice a day. I'm insane. Anyway, so yeah, sometimes you got to do things you hate. That's okay. You got to learn to do what you need to do before you can do what you want to do. So I would say, sure, you can watch TV tonight as soon as you've done your homework. And my kids never argued because they understood you got to do what you need to do before you do what you want to do. It's really good to teach children to do what they hate. That has to be done. Everyone says, how do I make everything fun? That's the pleaser parent style. You're going to raise self-entitled snowflakes with mental health issues because they don't know how to do anything difficult. I don't want to pay rent because it's not fun. I don't want to pay my taxes. You got to teach them. They got to do some crappy stuff in life. That's normal. When my kids were 15, I made them both go out and get part-time jobs. And I was praying that at least once they'd have to scrub a public toilet. And they both did. That's good for them. Oh, she's 11 years old. I forgot the question. She's embarrassed by you and your girlfriend. I can't remember the question. That sounds normal to me. Parents are humiliating when they're tweens, especially tween girls. 9 to 12 is a tween. Oh, it's humiliating being seen with your parents. Not all of them are like that, but some are just like that. So. How to deal with sensory. Oh, that was tart. Whew, I'm drinking kombucha, but it's a cayenne cleanse one. So yeah, that's doing some cleansing right there. Oh, that was tart. I usually drink it in the morning and I've been talking all day, so my throat's raw. Whew. Oh, excuse me. Okay. Someone asked how to deal with sensory issues with a 3-year-old. That comes up a lot in coaching, and I don't know what you mean by that. It's too broad of a term. Sensory issues means that they're usually very sensitive to things that have certain feelings. Like some kids can't stand Jell-O, or they can't stand toast. Like just weird things that it upsets them, and they get very upset by it. So it's too broad of a term. I don't know do you have a question, or yeah, like what specific issue and what's the problem? Okay, I need help with bedtime. She's 3 years old. Check out my Bedtime Battles course. That's one of my mini niche courses. It's up in the link above. And it's in 2 parts. It's a whole system. It's in two parts. The first part is how to get them in bed. That's the easy part. The hard part is how to keep them there. It's usually one night of sheer hell, but it's worth it. You got to go through the storm to get to the rainbow. That's it. Short-term pain for long-term gain. That's it. I was talking to a client the other day and I couldn't think of that term. I used to say it all the time and I just completely forgot it. It's short-term something. What? Yeah, she couldn't think of it either. Short-term pain for long-term gain. A lot of this is like that. It's going to be really difficult in the short term, but it's worth it in the long term. Okay. Oh, sensory issues with their clothes, shoes, and socks. It's very common. It's up against their skin. I don't know. Like, it's so different with each kid. And you got to, okay. What was it? Oh, I just remembered this. I was working with a client. We were trying to come up with something. This kid couldn't handle something. I think it was the elastic on the underwear. So I can't remember what it was. Just couldn't handle it. It was just too much for this kid. So we got out the parent, they were using some kind of really like lanolin or something, and they were rubbing it on the elastic, I think, and it helped. Like and they got the kid involved in it. Like, here, we're going to fix it. So you'd be really positive about it and say, I know this bothers you. We're going to fix it. I don't remember what it was. I think it was just pure lanolin or sheep's oil or something, sheep oil or something. I can't remember what it was, but it was really like really gentle, but it was like a lanolin, and they rubbed it inside the clothes and it helped. So yeah, I've forgotten about that. That was a while ago. I think I just talked to a client today about that too. So forgot to mention that. Anyway. Yeah, 6-year-old with ADHD. Okay, I learned all this. Most of what I teach, I didn't learn with my own kids because I got respect when they were tiny and kind of sailed right through the teen years. But I teach you how to get respect, not how to maintain it. Maintaining it's easy. Getting it's the hard part. But I've worked with tons and tons of kids. I would say most of them probably had ADHD because no one ever said, here's an easy one, Lisa. They all went, good luck with this one. So they all had ADHD. That's where I learned all this stuff. It's consistency. It's mixed with a lot of fun and humor. But it's, I don't take any crap, but I also mix it with a lot of fun. I address bad behavior and then I focus on the good kid. Where you put your focus, where you put your energy is what grows. If all you're focused on is the bad behavior, it will grow. It's like you're fertilizing it. Okay. Attention is a fertilizer with kids. Wherever you put your attention is what grows. So be really careful with that. That's why we don't give tantrums any attention. Yeah. You never discuss a tantrum before, during, or after. There is no point whatsoever. Some of my clients, the ones who argue this with me, one in particular is a child psychologist. We got into it, and we got into it about two things: that you got to discuss a tantrum, and what was the other one? Oh, I can't remember right now. Oh, praise. I said praise never gets good behavior. We argued that one too. We had a blast actually. It was a really fun client. But yeah, I argued that praise doesn't get good behavior. And I feel I won both arguments, and maybe that person felt they won them both too. I think we kind of said we got to agree to disagree. But they hired me, so they're going to get my opinion. You tried that. Was that the lanolin? Yeah, I don't know. You might have to hire me if it's a real problem, but there's no guarantee I could come up with anything anyway. So that's one of those specialty things that would not be in the boot camp kind of thing. There's a million different things I deal with. I can't put everything in there. I put the most common things that I come up against or things that I think you should know or that might help you. Like allowance. A lot of parents don't ask me about allowance, but I put it in there because I think it's really important to teach children how to learn how to save and manage money. So I put that in there. I put a lot of stuff in there that maybe you wouldn't have thought of, but I think it's important. I don't know why I keep going like that. Anyway, oh, my finger's killing me today because I've been working on my mouse a lot, and I just hurt when I did that. Such a wimp. Okay, what motivated you to start coaching or create courses? Okay, I started coaching before I ever did a course. I only did courses just a few years ago. Anyway, I started, well, I'll just tell you my story very quickly because some people on here want to be a coach and they've asked me to help them, but I can't do that because I only teach through experience, right? And anyway, so I started volunteering in daycare centers when I was 11 years old. I always found kids interesting. And the daycare ladies, I remember I was 11, it was a grade 6. And the daycare ladies would ask me, they'd say, how do you do that? You get such good behavior out of them, but they want to be with you all the time. I didn't know how to answer that. I obviously kind of just had that leadership thing figured out from day one, from that young age. And then when I was 20, I thought, well, I'm going to be a child psychologist because, obviously that's what I should do. And then I signed up for a course and they kicked me out after a week because I asked too many questions. What they were teaching back, that would have been about 1980. What they were teaching back then was just garbage. It was always trying to outsmart the kids. It was so holier than thou. Like it was just, I thought it was patronizing. I couldn't stand it. And then the other students in the class started asking me questions about kids. So they couldn't get rid of me fast enough. You know what I should have done? I should have held out and asked for double back. But anyway, thank God I never became that because I would never have been any good learning in a classroom. I went out in the field. I went in hospitals, psych wards, school, tons of schools. I got some clearance to go into homes and support teachers or parents who were struggling in homes. So so I learned through kids. Kids taught me all this. And then when I was mentoring troubled teens, they said, you got to teach this, Lisa, because no one's ever talked to us like you do. And then like 25 years later, I started my business, or 20 years later, whatever. So, but yeah, I think it was just sort of meant to be. You know, I'm not good at a whole bunch of things. Like, you know, some people are great at a lot of things. I'm not. This, like, not everything comes as easy to me. This always just kind of came easy to me. I always just kind of, because I was really interested in it. I took a real, and I never wanted to outsmart kids. I studied them, and I sort of was good at entering their world. I was really good at figuring them out and entering their world so that they would listen to me. Yeah, that was sort of what I did. Anyway, I loved it. And also, if you're going to take advice from, and I just say this because it's just sort of a public service, if you're going to take parenting advice from someone, they have to have 2 criteria or I wouldn't listen to them. Number 1 is they have to have finished the job. Have they lived with teenagers? Have they got young adults as kids? Like, that's your PhD, is when you finish the job. Well, that's actually not your PhD. Your PhD is, have they had experience with hundreds of other kids too? Put those 2 things together. Because my kids are relatively easy. All I had to do was maintain the respect I earned when they were like 3, right through the teen years. But it's all those other hundreds of other kids at all sorts of issues. Those are the ones who taught me most of what I learned. So those are the 2 criteria. They have to have finished the job with their own kids, lived with teenagers, because that's a different beast. And then they have to have worked with hundreds of other kids. Otherwise, it's like, if you're just listening to someone who has little kids about parenting, how do they know if what they're doing today is not going to backfire down the road? Because a lot of what works with little kids builds resentment, and it comes shooting out later on, especially the teen years, tween and teen years. So yeah, it's like taking advice from someone, for financial advice from someone with $10 in the bank. It really is experience-based. It just is. Don't praise them. You can praise them, but that doesn't get good behavior. Sure, you can praise them, but it doesn't get you what you want. That's the thing. Praise is fine. There's nothing wrong with it, but it just doesn't get you anything. Look at it. Look at it like this. Let's say you got a little kid and you say to them, "You're wonderful. You're special. I love you. Everybody loves you. You could do anything you want. Okay, I'm going to go do the dishes now." This is the kid. Nothing. You look at them. Nothing. This is the difference. You say to a kid, but parents tend to overpraise and underplay. Play is their love language, not praise. This is what you say to a kid if you want the result. You say to a kid, "Hey, what are you doing? Can I play too?" Look at their face. See the difference? That's their love language. You get good at connecting with kids, and they'll look up to you. They want to please you. That's leadership. You meet their needs and you manage their wants. The managing their wants is the discipline. Meeting their needs is playing with them. Enter their world. Show them respect by watching them play and joining in. Praise is overrated. It's okay, but it doesn't get you the results you want. It's just so overdone. "Oh, you're wonderful. You're special. You're this and that," and they're just looking at you like, "Yeah, can you play with me?" "No, I'm busy. I got to go do the dishes." You see? What does that do for them? It's just overrated, very much so. No, I just answered that. I didn't say don't praise them. I didn't say that. I skip a lot of questions, by the way. I'm skipping through about 40 of them right now. So yeah, I have to skip ahead because people come and go. So I only answer who's here, right? People come and go, so I answer the most recent question. Okay, actually, I got to get going because I only have 20 minutes for each one. So I'm on YouTube at the same time. And now I go from Facebook to Instagram to TikTok. Facebook's my smallest platform, then Instagram's bigger. TikTok's even bigger. Instagram and TikTok are both just equally as busy. So they get those lives get really busy. But so I can answer more questions here. But anyway, so I'm moving over there now. If you want to join me over there, you can do so. If not, check out the link above. You can get my free behavior board, my mini toddler courses, my big boot camp course. Remember, I've got that big thing starting on the 30th where I'll be going through it with you on Zoom, and big group sessions. So I'm really excited about that. So look that up. It's if you sign up for the behavior board, you'll get the emails explaining what that's all about. You have to be signed up to be in on those Zoom sessions. I've never done it before. I don't know. I did it once before, but only with a very tiny group. And it's not something I'll be doing regularly. And those Zoom sessions will be put on the course eventually. So they're going to be public. So just to let you know, if you turn up with your face on there, it'll be up on the, anyway, you'll learn all about that. So thanks so much for watching. And I'm going over to the links above, by the way, in the description or whatever. And I'm going over to Instagram now. Okay. Happy parenting. Do you have a plan to write a book? Yeah, one day. I'll tell you something though. My schedule's jam-packed right now. So I'm going to have to either quit coaching or take a break from coaching if I want to write a book. And I'm not prepared to do that right now because I love coaching so much. my favorite thing because you get to know parents. And it's my nurturing. I love mothering, so I get to mother all my clients. So yeah, I'm going to have to quit coaching for a while if I want to write a book. Hopefully one day. Ooh, that's tart. Yeah. Oh, so tart. Okay, so people are coming in. People come in fast and furious on Instagram. It's the fastest one for some reason. Okay, thanks very much for joining me. I'm Lisa. I'm a parenting coach. Most people are regulars, but some people are new, so I'm just introducing myself. If you go on the link above, you can get my free behavior board, my mini toddler courses, my big boot camp course. You know, that big group Zoom sessions are going to be included with them starting on March 30th. So it's a one-off thing I'm doing. There's no extra charge for that. It's just included in the course. So I'm very excited about that. The reason I'm so excited about it is because I'll be going through there's 5 weeks in that course from 3 to 12 years old. There's 5, it's just for the parents, not for the kids. There's 5 weeks in that course, but I'm doing a 6th week because I want to find out how it went. So I'm really excited about that. That 6th week is on April 27th. So I'm really excited about that. Anyway, so let's get going with your parenting questions. Oh yeah, and coaching. My schedule's really packed right now, but I do like to mix up ages. So I might even take you on tonight. I'm answering my emails after this. And I might even be able to take you on tonight depending on the age because I like to mix up the ages. I don't just want to be working with all teenagers all the time or all toddlers all the time or whatever. So do you do these every night? Yeah, I'm on here pretty much every day. I have 2 regularly scheduled lives, Tuesdays and Thursdays. They're all listed above. And then, but I just turn up whenever I can every other day. Sometimes I'll miss a day. Usually it seems to be a Saturday. But yeah, sometimes I'll miss a day. But not usually. I've been pretty good lately. No, that's not true. I think I missed last Friday and Saturday. Yeah, I was coaching a lot. So yeah, if I miss a day, it's because I'm just busy coaching. I work 7 days a week. So yeah, I love what I do. India. Hello, India. I don't have any clients from there right now. I don't think so. No, I might. Welcome. I love when I work with other countries, like especially countries that I don't know much about. Some countries I've never even heard of before because I teach basically North American parenting style, which is in Australia where I raised my kids. It's similar, right? And it's actually a bit different though, but it's similar. But when I'm working with parents from other countries, I have to take their culture, their religion, their multi-generational households into account, and I have to work around that. I have to respect that because I'd be stupid if I just expected them. Well, this is the way we do it. It's ridiculous. You know, I have to sort of work with that, and I actually love doing that because it challenges me. Because a lot of households, the father's the head of the house, and he will not be on the behavior board. So I have to respect that and work around that. So yeah, I really enjoy it. Okay, so I'm just skimming ahead because I want to make sure you're here because sometimes people come and go. So I try and get to the most recent questions. Oh, this one's easy. Well, I shouldn't say that patronizing. Oh, this one's so easy. It's only easy because I deal with it a lot. So it's only easy for me. Okay, how do you respond? Patronizing was that? Ah, stupid me. Anyway, sorry about that. This is for Laura. I can't read it. How do you respond when an 8-year-old who received the media blackout then starts with, you hate me, you think I'm stupid, etc.? Okay, it's just manipulation. If they say stuff like that when they're mad, it's pure manipulation. Now, if you're on Dumbo at Disneyland going around having fun and they say it, then I would look into it. But yeah, it's just manipulation. This is what I would say. So you just said, okay, media blackout, 24 hours starts now. And then they start up, I hate you, you hate me, I'm awful. I would go like this, whatever. And then I'd just go about my business. Like, in other words, you can't manipulate me. It's just manipulation. That one, I remember once I was working with this client and because the way I do it is like, whatever, like really casual, no expression whatsoever. And the parent, they couldn't do it without laughing. And they go, whatever. I said, no, you can't laugh at them. I hate myself, whatever. You know, it has to be really like no expression. In other words, you can't manipulate me. That's basically what you're saying in just one word. My daughter is literal poster child for terrible twos. I need help. I don't know. I've worked with a few toddlers that I think she could probably probably relate to. Okay, teenagers who want to wear something you think are too short or inappropriate, what to do? That's a tricky one. And I'm going to read out my top 3 tips for parenting teenagers, and then we'll discuss it, because it doesn't mean that I'm going to not have anything to say about that, by the way. Okay, I'm assuming it's a girl, right? Something too short. You don't usually see guys wearing something too short. Anyway, these are my top 3 tips for parenting teenagers. They're my favorite age, by the way. I specialize in teamwork, so I find them fascinating. Okay, my top 3 tips for parenting teenagers. Number 1 is you listen to understand and show empathy. You don't listen to gather information to lecture with, or they will shut you out. If they want your advice, they'll ask for it. By the way, they already know it, okay? Number 2 is you negotiate pretty much everything, which is what we'll do with this. So it goes like this. Hey, I want your dirty clothes in the hamper. What do you want from me? And it's not with everything, but it's sort of an idea of planning in your head here. Number 3 is don't sweat the small stuff. Save your energy for the big stuff, okay? So if they do something stupid and it's not a big deal, you just say, well, that was stupid. Do you want to hear what I did when I was your age? Or you could say, do you want to hear what I did yesterday? You know, just laugh it off. We all make mistakes. Anyway, I would say to that's a girl who wants to wear something too short, I would talk about the message they're sending. I would talk a little bit about that. And it's a really good opportunity to talk about how you dress says a lot about what you're willing to accept from a guy. It's just and it doesn't mean that, you know, I hate this saying when they say, well, she was asking for it when a girl gets attacked at a party. You know, that's not the case, but she's more likely to be attacked if she does show stuff. I used to tell that to my daughter, and my daughter was very not into that. She didn't like to show anything anyway, but I used to tell her when she was younger, when, you know, you see that girl there, the way she's dressed, I said, there's no excuse for any guy to go up to her and try and touch her just because she dressed that way, but they're more likely to touch her because she's dressed like that. So I would talk like that and say, okay, I don't want you to wear that. What do you want from me? Let's negotiate this a little bit. So open up the conversation. Say, let's negotiate this a little bit. I don't want you to wear something that short. What do you want from me? Let's start the negotiations. You could do it that way too. Can a consequence on the behavior board be to take away toys? That's the second consequence. The behavior board, there's 1 rule and there's 2 consequences for the kids. The first one is a positive action. So you get them to do something. So they do something naughty, so you get them to do something good, like a good deed, a chore, whatever. It's no big deal. Then if they won't do that, then you do the negative deprivation. You take a toy away. But if they're under 3, that's not the behavior board, because they can't. The behavior board starts at 3. Under 3, it's a little bit different, but if they're 3 and above, this is the behavior board. So you don't take anything away until you've started with the positive action one. They won't do it, and you always put a time limit on it. Sweep the kitchen floor within 10 minutes of being asked to do so. Always put a time limit on it. And if then it's 11 minutes, okay, let's go to the board. I'm going to do it now. Well, it's too late. It was 10 minutes, was up a minute ago. So media blackout or whatever starts now. So you see how that works? You never just go to the deprivation one. That's your second stop. Well, this is interesting. I'm nitpicking here. How can I be a better leader? I feel awful at it, like my kids feel like we're equals instead of like I'm leading them and I feel the same way too. We're all equal, but I'm their guide. I'm their mentor. I'm their mother. I'm their leader. Okay, they need that. Children need that. We don't, but we're all equal. Like they had a say. I respected them. I listened to them. And if they were being fair and reasonable, I usually would go their way because I wanted to give them that respect. So, but if they weren't being respectful, then I wouldn't. But yeah, you were all equal, but you are their leader. You are in charge of the big stuff for sure. So there's a difference there. Anyway, check out the boot camp course. That might be for you because it's 5 weeks to be a leader. The boot camp course, I've got that group Zoom call going starting on, it's all free included in the course. Well, the course isn't free, but there's no extra charge for this. It's just a new thing I'm doing. It's like a one-off. Starts on March 30th. So if you sign up for the boot camp course, you can get in on it. Every week I'll be turning up at noon on Saturdays here on Vancouver time. I'll be turning up at noon on Saturdays for a 1-hour Zoom answering your questions about the course. 3 to 12 years old. We're going to stick to questions that pertain to each week as we go through them. Well, I'm a little bit on the fence about that because you might be on week 5. By the time you go through it, you might have a question about that. So I don't quite know how I'm going to do that, to be honest. Do you have any suggestions? Should I do it only pertaining to week 1 and week 1, only pertaining to week 2 and week 2? But is that fair to someone who's going through week 5? I don't know. I don't know. I think I should probably stick to the weekly subject, shouldn't I? I don't know. Anyway, I got someone I talked to about all this, so someone I bounce everything off of, who's way smarter than me at all this sort of organizing stuff. Okay. Okay. What to do when a 3-year-old does positive action? So let's say that they hit, and then you said, okay, let's go to the, you always go to the board to do this. Let's go to the board. So your rule was no hitting, and your consequence was you have to clear the table after dinner. Okay. And then you said with no complaint. So they go and do that. They clear the table. And then within 30 seconds of hitting or clearing the table, then they hit again. What I would say is I'll tell you what, you've hit twice now today, or you've just hit twice. Usually I do it if it's 3 times, but you can do it now. Say, okay, so you hit, let's go to the board, you hit, then you did the consequence, that was great, but then you hit again. Say, I'll tell you what we're gonna do. Because you hit again, we'll go right to the negative deprivation. So 24-hour media blackout starts now, and make it happen. Ooh, it's gonna get ugly. It's a good lesson for that child though. I'll bet you they'll think twice before they hit again. They probably will. They're going to make mistakes, but they'll probably think twice before they hit again. So, yeah. And once you've said it, it has to happen. And then, no, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. How about I do another chore? Well, no, it's too late. It's already started. That's how I talk. I go, well, it's already started, so it's too late. Remember I said the 24-hour media blackout starts. It's already started. So once you've said it, make it happen. You got to say what you mean and mean what you say. If you do an empty threat, oh, they've got you where they want you. Yeah, I can't do that. You got to be consistent 100% of the time. Okay, I have a 14-year-old who's failing 3 classes in grade 9, and it's everybody else's fault. Of course, it's everybody else's fault. She's not going to take accountability. That's coaching, unfortunately. I don't have a course for that, and I don't have a quick answer. I'd have to figure out what your history is with her. Why is she failing? Was she failing before? What's her social life like? What is she doing online? Do you know what she's doing online? What's your relationship like? So I have to assess the whole situation before I can help you. I'd probably take that one on tonight if you signed up, because I haven't got a 14-year-old girl right now that I'm working with. I like to mix up the client ages and yeah. So anyway, if you're interested in coaching, then check it out. And then if you're interested, send me an email, and then tell me it was you and it was a 14-year-old girl who's failing 3 courses. Because yeah, that's kind of the thing I like to work with. Oh God, I'm going to read this out because I don't even know what it means. My son is 7 and has pathological demand avoidance. I don't even know what that means. So he's just feisty. He's defiant. Is that what you mean? Getting dressed and transitioning from place to place. Any advice? Boy, that's a really fancy word for a defiant kid who won't do what he's told to do. Yeah, check out my boot camp course. It sets you up as a leader, and that takes care of that stuff. So yeah. Oh, my 4-year-old started hitting. How can I teach him to stop? Check out my behavior board. It's completely free above, and you just put down the rule is no hitting. When he hits, there's a consequence. If you don't attach a if you just say, no, you don't hit, no, you don't hit, that's not very nice. It doesn't mean anything to them. But all of a sudden, they have to sweep the kitchen floor if they hit. They might think twice. And if they won't sweep the floor, then they get 24-hour media blackout. So yeah, there has to be a consequence. You make them accountable by giving them consequences. So I'm just skipping ahead because people come and go, and I've got tons of questions here. Okay. What does media blackout mean? It means no screens. So no phone, no iPad, no TV, no computer, nothing for 24 hours, unless they do homework. And if they have to do homework, the screen, you have to be able to see the screen to supervise that they are doing homework. How can we shape behavior before age 3? I'm going to read out my top 5 tips for parenting toddlers, and tips number 3 and 4 are the important ones here. And I'll explain why after I read it out. These are my top 5 tips for parenting toddlers. Number 1 is you child-proof your home so you never have to say no. Number 2 is you set up a toy rotation system so they're never bored. Number 3 is when you want to connect with a toddler, you do so in their world. You go to the park and roll down the hill with them. You don't take them to the nail salon. Number 4 is you stop with the mini therapy sessions when you're disciplining them. They don't care what you're saying. You take action. It's consistent corrective actions because there again, it's in their world, okay? And number 5 is stop trying to figure them out. They're not figure-outable. They're just forming. Okay, 3 and 4 are both the same. One is when you want to connect with them, you enter their world. And the other one is when you want to discipline them, you enter their world. The better you get at entering their world so that they understand what you're doing and they relate to it, the more you look like a leader, okay? Like when you're trying to connect with a kid, you watch how they play and then you join in and mimic them, do what they're doing, they just start to look at you differently. That's what I used to do when I worked with kids. Yeah, they just start to look at you differently because you're more relatable. They're more likely to listen to you when you enter their world. It's just different. Okay, I'm going to move over to TikTok now. If you want to join me over there, it's Bratbusters Parenting. I'm on YouTube the whole time. That's where I save all of my lives. Also, remember, I've got that big thing going on. It's starting on the 30th. It's my group Zoom calls with the boot camp course, and it goes for 6 weeks. The boot camp course goes for 5 weeks. The 6 weeks with the group Zoom is I want to see how you did with it. I'm really excited about that one. I've never done that before. I did it once before where I had some people helping me build the course, and there was only about 20 of us in there, but we never did a 6th week. So I think I did a coaching session with each of them. I think I did that to check in, but I think it'd be fun to just see how everyone's doing. So anyway, if you want to look into that, there's no extra charge for that. It's just part of the boot camp course. It will eventually be embedded in the course because I think it'd be really helpful for people to see all of you guys asking questions. It's just a Q&A. And anyway, thanks so much for joining. And then coaching, if you're interested, check out the link in above. Everything I have is in that link. Anyway, happy parenting, and I'm going over to TikTok now. So many buttons to push here. Don't you scroll one more. TikTok starts with ads now, and it's really frustrating. I can never turn it off quick enough. Okay, there we go. Oops. Sorry, just checking my emails while we're talking here. Or while I'm waiting. Just waiting for people to turn up in TikTok. Okay. I'm trying to drink my kombucha, but it's a cayenne cleanse, and boy, is it tart. And I usually drink this every morning, and but I don't usually drink it at night. And because I've been talking and coaching all day long, my throat's really raw, and this is just burning my throat. It is really good, though. Kind of looks like, remember the old-fashioned beer bottles? The old Labatts and all those, like 50 years ago. You're probably too young. They used to look like that. Okay. Okay, good question. This is on YouTube. By the way, my name's Lisa. If you're new here, my name's Lisa. I'm a parenting coach. If you go on the link above, you can get my free behavior board, my mini toddler courses, my big boot camp course, and check out what's going on in the boot camp. There's a special thing coming up on the 30th, and it's all included in the normal boot camp. And then also coaching. You can look into that, and you have to apply for coaching these days because my schedule is pretty packed. Anyway, I'm going to read this question. That one lady on YouTube says, it's not that she's that one lady, it's just that's her name on YouTube. What do you do when you're already on the blackout and they are back breaking the rule? Okay, so let's say their rule is no hitting. So they hit and then they won't do the positive action. So you say, okay, blackout, media blackout starts now. And then they hit throughout the media blackout. You can't do anything about it. All you do is say, that's why you've got media blackout. It's going to seem kind of pointless because they're going to think it's like a free ride. They can hit all day long, and they might. Doesn't matter. They're getting the message that, oh, okay, and you don't keep saying it all day long. Just you try and avoid the hits if you can, but just say that's why you got media blackout. They'll eventually catch on. It doesn't bother you. Like you're already punishing them. And when they've got media blackout, you do it with them, and that's your time to bond with them. So if they've got media blackout, you do it with, there's no way that I would, let's say this is my phone. There's no way if a kid had media blackout that I'd be looking on my phone like this. Oh, this is wonderful. Yeah, you do it with them. And that's your time to bond with them. I would say to them, look, you got media blackout. I'm going to do it with you. Do you want to play a game? No, I hate you. I hate you. Okay, never mind. And then maybe once they've calmed down, you ready for that game now? So you're trying to connect with them. So there's no anger in this. They've already been punished. They got media blackout. You're not mad at them. If you use emotions when you're disciplining, you're not a leader. Leaders are it's like a business transaction. All discipline is like a business transaction. The fun, you can be crazy when you're having fun with your kids, be nuts and crazy like I was. I was one of those crazy mothers. I did all sorts of weird stuff with my kids. Other kids thought I was insane. I wish I could tell this story, but it was so you had to be there. We did this stupid thing in the car, and then we said, oh, we're going to say something to the people as they're walking by. Or no, we're driving by, and we just did this crazy stuff. We yelled out the window. I didn't realize there was a red light coming up. And then we were stopped there, and the people that we'd just been yelling this at, me and the kids, and they walked right past the car, and and I said, just act natural. So we're all sitting there like this, like just that's so embarrassing. Stupid me. I didn't think we might get stopped at that light, and those people that we just yelled at. And it was just something crazy. It wasn't anything mean, obviously. But oh my God, it was so embarrassing. So yeah, I was one of those mothers. I was definitely the goofy one in the family. I would like to think my kids were the goofy ones. It wasn't, it was me. Definitely. I still am. I've got a very immature sense of humor. Okay. Okay, oh my goodness, no. I got to answer this one because no. It's from Josie on YouTube. My almost 4-year-old is pooping in her pants. Would you put that on the behavior board? Never, 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 never discipline bodily functions. It can mess them up. It just can. Like you just say, oh, well, you pooped in your pants. Okay, I'll tell you there's 3 reasons why they usually will not want to poop in the toilet. One of them is, the first one is that they don't like the plop, like they might get splashed back in the toilet, so they don't like that. The other one might be that their bum is cold, okay, when they sit on the toilet, because they're usually there for a little while, right? And the other one is that they don't like that hanging feeling, that pulling feeling on their bum. So those are the 3 reasons why they don't maybe like pooping on the toilet. If it's that big of an issue and if she's pooping her pants a lot, I would say, look, maybe you're uncomfortable on the big toilet. Get her one of those little potties just for now and say, we're going to put some toilet paper in the bottom so that she doesn't get the hanging because her bum will be touching the bottom of it pretty much. And then hike up the heat in the bathroom. And there's no water to splash back. So see if that helps. I don't know. It's usually boys that are like that because they got more equipment hanging on down there, right? So it happens with girls too, though. But a lot of boys don't like pooping in the toilet. And a lot of girls too, but mostly boys. I shouldn't say mostly boys, just a little bit more, maybe, I don't know, 55 to 35. That's not right. 55 to 45 out of 100. I got that one wrong. Any advice about in-laws? Not really. You got to put up with them if they're a pain, if they're Badinskis. What you can say, though, is if they're undermining your parenting, I'm assuming that's what you're talking about. If they're undermining your parenting, this is about all you can say. When you undermine my parenting, it hurts my feelings. If they don't respect that, I can't help you. Like they're beyond help. You know what I mean? If they don't respect your feelings, what can we do? I'm a grandmother. There's no way I'd tell my kids how to parent. It's none of my business. None of my business. And plus, I want them to feel good about themselves. They're doing a great job. So I want them to feel good about, and that don't have to be like me. They can have their own style too. None of my business. But I never really told my kids what to do anyway. Like they're allowed to have their own feelings and thoughts and all that. We look the same. Look at my picture. Well, I can't see it. It's too small. Do we look the same? I'll have to try and look at that later. Or maybe send me oh, no. I don't look at my messages. I don't have time. That's funny. Click on it. Okay, I will. I'll click on it. Oh, that's me, isn't it? Just a sec. Isn't that me? But I don't recognize those. I used to wear glasses, and I still wear them for reading. Oh, yeah, okay. It's a prank. Yeah. It's gotta be. Says, no, that's me. Definitely you. It looks a lot like me. Plus, I'm adopted, so who knows who I've got out there, right? One thing I found out And I love it when I get clients who have kids who are adopted and they don't know how to broach the subject. Boy, do I have opinions on that, because I know my mother did a great job with that. And oh yeah. Anyway, but anyway, I found some distant relative, and I got a couple of one answer was, I'm 63 and I don't have any gray hair yet. And they said, yeah, we don't go gray in our family. So that was kind of neat, because when you're adopted, the only people I have any relation to, like looks wise, are my kids, right? But I don't know what's coming in the future. So and everyone thinks I dye my hair, and no one believes me unless they know me, because I say, no, I'm in my 60s. I don't have gray hair yet. But evidently that's one of them. And the other one was, they all have really light, I've got like really light green eyes, and they've got light green eyes. Wouldn't it be neat? Like I think it'd be neat to see people my age or older that I was, had biological connection to, but I've never had that. So not a big deal. Do you recommend sleep training? Sort of, but I hate it. I did it, but I hate it. It's one of those things that, would I do it again? Yeah. It's just one of those horrible things. I think I did it with both my kids that are around 10 months old, and I put them to bed. I went in every few minutes, you're okay, patting them on the back when they were like a baby, about 10 months old, and then patting them on the back. And then I left and closed the door, and I sat outside their room crying into a pillow. It was awful, but hated it. Sometimes you got to do what you got to do. It's either that or just keep getting up. My daughter slept with us. That's why I had to do it with her. I think I did it with her at 8 months. I decided, I was terrified of rolling over on top of her. And then my son, and she was pretty easy. She was a super easy kid. But my son, he liked to get up and play in the middle of the night, and he was 10 months old. And I thought, this is enough. He didn't need feeding. He barely would drink anything. So I think, here I'm sitting here, he's not even drinking. So yeah, I decided that I didn't need to play with him at 2 in the morning. So that's why I did it. Okay. Let me see. So I was just reading the YouTube comments. That's okay. I don't have a following really on YouTube yet. YouTube is not social media. YouTube is a search engine, and it's a beast to try and figure out. I don't do any of my own stuff with that. But yeah, so I don't get a lot of messages on there. So every so often I like to check it out. But that's where I save all of my lives. Okay. Almost 4-year-old has been at preschool for 2 months, 2 times a week. Still no close friends. Should I be worried? Nah, I shouldn't be worried. They often play independently. By the age of 4, they do start to play together, especially 3 years and 9 months. That's when I really see a big turning point. I won't go into it, but 3 years and 9 months is when they can start to develop empathy and really start to connect with other people, like other kids playing. But yeah, they just haven't met someone they connected with yet, My 3-year-old gets upset and says, go away. I don't love you, that he learned from movies. Should I respond? No, I just say, okay, I'll go and read a book or something. Wouldn't bother me at all. Do you think daycare is damaging to young children? Well, I can't make that call. I don't know. Where are you sending? What kind of daycare? Is it a prison or something? Like, I don't think so. I think that, every kid's a little bit different. They're going to respond differently to everything. You could have 2 or 10 kids raised exactly the same, and they'll all come out a little bit different. They react differently to different things. So, but I do think that socializing is good for kids. My kids, I was a stay-at-home mom, so they didn't go in daycare till they were like up on their feet. And then I took them to the gym every day, and they went in that daycare. That was their social time. My son loved it. He loved it so much that when I was getting ready for the gym on weekends with no childcare, so they'd stay home with daddy, and he would cry because mom was going to the gym without him, but with no gym, he didn't have any daycare there. That's good for them. Yeah, I think it's good for them. Yeah, your kids love daycare. Yeah, it's a social environment, right? Some of them like it more than others, but like I said, they're all different. They're all going to like certain things more than others. And I don't think daycare is good or bad. Like, what I mean is, I think it's just part of life. It's like saying, is riding in a car bad for them? Well, if they get car sick, it can be bad, or, Okay. Best way to correct hitting, biting for a 26-month-old. I have a course on that. It's toddlers who hit and bite. And that's literally called that. Hit, bite, etc. I think. It's the worst name for a course. But anyway, it's in the link above if you're interested. It's kind of a whole process. Oh, how to correct a 2-year-old throwing a fit when they have to do something like bathe. You don't correct a fit. That's fits, tantrums, scenes, and meltdowns. That's just a loss of emotional control. Not they just don't want to do something. They don't like the word no, or they don't want to do something. Just make it happen anyway. So yeah, when they start having a fit and you got to get them dressed, you got to. I don't care if you've got their head in the armhole and their leg in the arm or whatever. I don't care, but just you got to do it anyway. So yeah, you got to get dressed. The more they get used to the fact that it just has to be done anyway, the less likely they are to have a fit. If you let them win over having a fit, or if you give it any attention at all, they've won. Don't let it bother you. One thing I want to say too is a lot of what I deal with here in these lives is about discipline. So it's all the negative stuff because that's the questions I get asked all the time. That's really not what I'm all about at all. I'm about connecting with kids, bonding with them, bringing out the best in them, and making them like themselves when they're with me. That's the power. They don't tend and that's the part of the leadership. It's bonding with them, connecting with them. I know in coaching, that's such a huge part of coaching, and because I'm in control of coaching, not the parents. So on here, I sort of am letting you lead me with all your questions, but I'm pulling away from that a little bit more and just talking more about the discipline is a very tiny part of it. Like I never had to discipline my kids because I got respect when they were little and then we just had fun. So isn't that kind of what you want? Yeah, that leadership stuff. So it's all about connecting with them, playing with them, and correcting them. When they do something bad, I don't let anything go. I don't take any crap. You deal with bad behavior, but then you flip on a dime and then you focus on the good kid. Where you put your focus, where you put your energy is what grows. So if you're bringing out the best in your children, guiding them into making good choices by having consequences if they make bad ones, okay, so you're guiding them how to make good choices, they don't tend to act out. They tend to respect you. And they look up to you. The ages of 3 to 12 years old, that's my boot camp course. That's the age, 3 to 12 years old. You're at the height of your leadership. They want to please you, and you want that. They need a leader at that age. Teenagers, no, you want them to be more their own leaders. And toddlers, they're just nuts anyway. But yeah, 3 to 12 years old, you're at the height of your leadership. They need, crave, and want a leader, and they're going to follow a leader too. They're going to follow your advice. Anyway, if you're not a leader for your children at home, they're going to be very vulnerable out there in the world to peer pressure, bullying, the drug dealer on the corner, the internet, the Kardashians. You get the idea. They're very vulnerable because they're looking for a leader. They desperately need, crave, and want a leader. Every single troubled teen I've ever worked with has said this to me in different words. They've said, I wish my parents were tougher on me growing up. They equate discipline with love. They know that their parent, and they've literally said it in different ways though. They don't want it now, but they know they feel discipline was love and their parents didn't love them enough to discipline them. Isn't that interesting? So they get it. They need leadership. They need guidance. Anyway, it's kindness. It's not mean. Okay, what time is it? Sorry, I have to get going. I've got 27 emails to answer right now. I'm going to try and get through them. If it's about coaching and if I don't answer you, it's because I can't take you on. Because I do tend to look at the ages, and just because I'm so busy these days. But I mix up the ages with coaching. So yeah, just because it makes my job more interesting. And anyway, thanks so much for joining me. I'm going to do my best to get to the emails. I don't tend to answer messages or comments. I'm going to try and get better at that, but I'm just so freaking busy these days. And I'm doing my best. That's why I come on here and answer questions every single day. It's easier for me to talk than to type answers because I'm typing, all the day with notes and everything. So it's just easier for me to answer questions here. And anyway, thanks so much for joining me. Check out the link above, my free behavior board, my mini toddler courses, my big boot camp course. Remember that Zoom is coming up soon. It starts on the 30th. I'm going through week 1, week 2, week 3, and I'm actually doing a 6th week in the boot camp course with you. It's all done on Zoom group coaching. It's only a one-off. I'm just going to include that in the course eventually. So once we've gone through it all, you'll be turning up in the course eventually. If you've turned up and asked questions, you'll be in the course. So anyway, it'll be fun to see other parents around you. See, they're all struggling with the same stuff you are. So, or maybe different stuff, maybe worse, maybe better, but parenting it's a lot of work. It's the hardest job in the world with the least amount of training. That's what I'm here for. So anyway, thanks so much. Happy parenting. Bye now.